All right, welcome to Lights Camera Barstool. Today we're doing just a quick news recap and then a long-awaited review of Den of Thieves. I would like to let you know all. Wow, just fully dyslexiated that for like a split second. I would like to let you all know that I tried desperately to try to make sure Fights was on this episode. He unfortunately is sick and not able to see the movie in the movie theaters. Clemmer also sick. I would have asked him to because I went to the movie with him. Very fun
hmm
experience, by the way, because he booked the tickets and we went to Dolby and AMC. And he's like, I hope you don't mind. I like to sit front row. And I thought he meant like, I don't know why. I kind of thought he meant like just sort of close to the screen. He was literal the front seat, like
I
literally the
mean,
front two.
Climmer is old, but he's not old and wretched the way Tommy describes him. But that is an old, wretched move. Like, that is
Yeah,
insane. That is what the old people do. They sit
and
front row.
because of like the curve, like you're basically sitting there, and like anything that happens in any part of the screen, you have to like full turn your
hmm
head to see what's happening. And in this movie, in Den of Thieves, which we'll talk about, I'm sure there are about 8 million title cards, and so I had to like go stop and go like full turn to the bottom corner and try and figure out where the fuck we were. Um, yeah, fun experience.
That's
Took
also the Dolby seats. That's like the least ideal seating to be in for a front row because they don't recline. They
so
recline
these
slightly.
ones,
They half
the,
recline.
yeah, exactly. They do like the half chub recline, which isn't great.
Yeah, it's
And
almost
then
less
after
comfortable than just sitting up.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like a tease of an actual seat recline. And after that, we'll be doing a draft of heist movies, which initially, when we had talked about it, we are going to do like five each. And the more I was looking at heist movies, there are so many more good ones than I thought. I'm like, yeah, we can probably get like five really good ones each, but there are a lot. There are a
Yeah.
lot more than I initially thought because there's some where I don't necessarily think of them as like when you think of like, oh, my top five heist movies, you don't think of them as like a heist movie, but they
hmm
are heist movies.
Yeah,
So
no, as a subgenre, that's a high shooting percentage. Like there's a lot of really good ones.
all
And
you have to
like
do is show a plan.
consistently, like even bad ones are like good. Like Den of Thieves,
You
the
sh-
first one, is a classically like good bad movie.
you show me a little. You show me like here's the guys, here's the bank, here's the recruiting the guys we need, here's the heist. That's all you need. That's literally it. It could be the worst execution ever. It could still and it will still be kind of fun.
I mean, do you remember? Well, I guess you didn't. You didn't watch Rick and Morty, did you? You weren't like a big
No,
Rick and Morty guy. They have a great. One of their best episodes is the heist episode, and they just do a heist throughout it. Like they hit every single like.
beat yeah.
Yeah, they do all the beats. It's so funny.
But before we get to all that, we could just talk quickly about some of the news items that came out. We had the Daredevil Born Again trailer. Blind lawyer Matt Murdock fights for justice as former crime boss Wilson Fisk. Our big old fucking goddamn it, why'd I forget his name?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
No.
Oh,
The character name.
oh,
Is it
Kingpin.
Kingpin? Yeah. Kingpin pursues his campaign for the mayor of New York City, causing their past identities to collide. Most of the cast is returning, including John Bernthal as Punisher, which we get a quick clip of during the trailer. Trailer looks sick. It looks like they got a lot of, and it's something you're kind of afraid of when it shifts from Netflix over to Disney. Is like, hey, are they kind of lose that edge because the Netflix superhero stuff, like their Marvel stuff, like some of it was good, some of it was bad. Like Daredevil was the best thing that they made, and part of what made it
Mhm.
so good was like their fight sequences were incredible, and you see a lot of that in this, like bones breaking, blood, shit like that. Like
Yeah.
that all is what I think helped made take Marvel over that or Daredevil over that edge. And you see all that, you see this like tense standoff moments between like at the diner with Daredevil and
Yeah.
Kingpin. Looks good. Really, really into it.
Yeah, no. I'm excited for this. Very excited. I like that they took their time. I obviously like during production. I think this is like a 2-year project for them. It came out that they were not going to bring back the beloved Foggy and Karen characters. Crazy. And then they pivoted, and I think that they course corrected, and it looks like things are in line here. I love that little setup. The whole premise of Kingpin being the mayor and Daredevil trying to go straight. Great stuff. It looks good. Like visually looks good. I saw people complaining. I think people look back on those Netflix Marvel series with some pretty heavily tinted rose colored glasses.
Yeah,
The Daredevil series is very good. Season two, I think people just forget, very bad. season
yeah.
season two of that show was bad. And there was a lot of like filler. 20 episodes was awesome, but there was also like 5 episodes a season that just did nothing. And the action looks great in this. Could be the way they cut it, obviously, but I think the bones breaking, the blood, all that stuff is something that we rarely get from Marvel. So when we do, it's like hell yes.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. This is like 15 episodes too, right? This is a
I
longer.
believe so.
That would make it what their longest series live action.
Well, let's see. It is 9 episodes.
Oh fuck! What the?
9
See,
episodes.
there's got to be a happy medium between the 22 and the 9 episodes.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, here's the thing. I subscribe to less is more. If you make 8 episodes of it, and because they're trying to like reboot. I want to say reboot this, like restart this in a way. So like if you do it and it works, great. Next season, do more episodes. But prefer that over doing stretching out something too thin over 16 episodes or whatever.
Really hoping they keep this self-contained too, which it does look like they're going to. Like, I think the one big cameo they revealed, and it was revealed already, right? The
Bernthal?
Punisher, yeah, Bernthal was coming back. Yeah.
It is cool that he's like officially like he's more. Or actually, you know what? The more I think about it, like the weird thing is, like Bernthal is such a good actor. I think that like I almost would like him to be able to play something else in Marvel, but at the same time, like you wouldn't be able to do that. Everyone would be like, "Well, why the fuck isn't he Punisher?" So, and he was a very good Punisher. So, I guess it makes
Dude,
sense.
Imagine if John Bernthal was a Wolverine. Hey,
let me tell you something, man. I'm from Canada. Let me tell you something. I was actually just rewatching Sicario, and I was like waiting for the point. I'm like, I know he says it at some point in this. Yeah, he's so fucking good in that too. But yeah, that's Daredevil Born Again. We had the trailer for Until Dawn. It's a movie based on a video game, which I never played. I had heard of it, like never knew the concept of it or anything like that. 1 year after her sister Melanie mysteriously disappeared, Clover and her friends head to the remote valley. She vanished to search for answers. Exploring an abandoned visitor center, they find themselves stalked by a mass killer and horrifically murdered one by one, only to wake up and find themselves back at the beginning of the same evening. David F. Sandberg directing it. We had talked about him when we did our like 2025 slate review. He's the guy that directed like Shazam and a couple other random movies. Yeah, and Peter Stormare, who I believe is in the video game, is also in the in this. He's like the biggest name that you'll see attached to it. I don't know. Like, I kind of generally like the concept of it, and it's just like I don't know what it is about like horror video games that I'm just like I'm trying to wrap my head around putting that into like because there are a lot of horror video games that are super good, like really good games, and and not all of them I think lend well to the big screen, and some of them have worked better in TV format. Like for example, like Last of Us, I wouldn't necessarily consider that like a horror game, but at the same time, like that lends itself good to TV. I don't know that many of them lend themselves well to movies because the interactive aspect of it is part of what makes them so scary.
Yeah, and I think Last of Us for sure horror video game, but its success, I don't think it would work as a movie.
Yeah,
even if the storyline was like compressed down into 2 hours and like it was a viable option to fit that in there, because the video games, especially in the horror genre, there's a level of immersiveness to it. Like you need that, first hour, 2 hours of gameplay to really build the tension and feel like you're in that world. So when you're going through a dimly lit hallway, you feel like you're going through a dimly lit hallway. I don't know if you can get to that level of effectiveness in a movie. And I also, more than anything, just don't trust Sony. They revealed a massive slate. I don't know if you remember all the titles. I think it was like a month ago when they revealed that they have like 15 live action movie adaptations coming up. And it's like, what are you thinking here, Sony?
Yeah.
And then giving these projects to, no offense to David Sandberg, but like if you want to make this shit work, you have to turn it over to some really talented people. Which Last of Us gave it to Craig Mazin, who did Chernobyl, and he's a phenomenal director.
Yeah, and for this guy, I think this guy's brother's also a video game director, if I'm reading right. Yeah, but I mean, like you give it to the guy that did like Annabelle Creation, Lights Out, and the 2 Shazam movies. It's like that doesn't really move the needle a ton for me, especially just again so much of like these sort of horror games, or is like you're like immersiveness in it, and like
Mhm.
you controlling what is happening, and like you lose that. And I feel like that, I don't know, I just don't know
It,
how that
and the other thing with The
plays.
Last of Us, I think that really sets it apart is it had a great story already
Yeah,
there. Like a lot of these video games, like the stories are fine, like you know they're fine, but you're there for the gameplay.
yeah.
Um, and I
It's like
just don't.
super. It's very cinematic already. Like I don't know that. I don't mean. I don't. I can't really feel like I can talk about it super like intuitively or anything like that because like I don't play the game, so
Mhm.
I don't know for sure. But still, just something about horror games in general. I'm not sure that lends totally to it.
Give us
Um,
more Super Mario games. Come on,
you
or
know,
Super
or
Mario
just
movies.
Nintendo movies would be great. I mean, go make a fucking Zelda movie. Like
Yeah,
I'm sure everyone would love it.
animated movies are awesome.
Yeah, I'm just kind of shocked they haven't tried to make like a new style Zelda movie. Like,
And
eh,
they're doing that one with Wes Ball. Is
yeah.
making that,
Let's see,
which I
Zelda
have
movie.
somewhat hopes for after his Planet of the Apes movie, but still, I that's tough. I just Link in live action, like a guy in that little that little
In
outfit.
Yeah, in June 2023, they said that Nintendo is closing a deal with Illumination to produce a film on the franchise following the success of Super Mario Brothers. Uh, the but now they're saying yeah, live action with Westball. I forgot it was live action. That's
Yeah,
not as hot for me. But I mean,
maybe they
Nintendo
can
has a
cast a
million other
really
things.
hot Zelda though.
Yeah, it's true. Zelda's the princess. People forget. Alto Knights trailer dropped. We talked about this a little bit again during our year looking forward thing. Vito Genovese and Frank Costello are Italian American mob bosses. Genovese orders a hit on Costello. Costello survives but is wounded in the attempt and ultimately decides to retire from the mafia. Looks like story over. Great synopsis. De Niro playing both roles of both mob bosses. Deborah Messing's in it. Cosmo Jarvis is in it. Um, this trailer made me think like how I think we're at the end of our rope with like De Niro mafia movies. I feel like Irishman was a great send off, and what was kind of so great about it was like it's the finality of the
Mm-hmm.
ending of that movie, and like I don't know how much more of this we got left. And this trailer does nothing doing like the fucking nutty professor with this sort
Yeah,
of topic. I just don't fucking get it. And they look alike. Don't get me wrong, but like I don't totally get it. It works when you're doing. And we mentioned this before we recorded. Like in Legend, when they're twins, you know what I mean. You have Tom Hardy playing two guys, and you can get like something goofy out of it. I guess I don't get it with this one.
yeah. No, I told you we were talking about before. It's kind of depressing because it almost feels like they definitely wanted Pesci, um, who's just too old at this point, and he's hung his cleats up, and he doesn't have 12 children to feed like De Niro
Yeah,
and Pacino do. Um, but yeah, no, this didn't do much for me. The De Niro train continues to roll on. I wish it wouldn't. He's a legend, obviously, but it just too old, I think, to be doing any kind of intimidating heavy work like this. Also, filmed in Cincinnati, which if you're trying to recreate New York City mob life, don't film it in Cincinnati. A city I love, a city that cannot replicate that vibe.
hit fucking or whatever Frank Costello eating a coney with cheese or whatever. Like
That'd be a funny little Easter egg, though.
yeah. You eat conies by the fucking carload. It's just not there's nothing about that works at all.
No.
But yeah, I just want to swing by Alto Knights. A working man trailer. Levin Cade. Oh yeah. An ex-Marines commando leads a peaceful life as a construction worker. However, he is forced to use an old set of skills to find his boss's teenage daughter Jenny, who has been kidnapped by human traffickers, and soon uncovers a conspiracy of corruption and government agents involved in human trafficking. Jason Statham, David Harbour, Michael Pena, Jason Fleming, David Ayer. So I mean, it's been mentioned a million times. He does like 15 of the same movies every single year, just reskinned a little bit. I mean, they literally just did this with the Beekeeper, except they just kind of twisted it. He plays the same character every time. It works every time. So I mean, I kind of get you keep going to the well and doing what works. Like, I mean, here's the thing, we'll go and watch it. Like, there's not many people that are like upset that he's doing the same movie again. You know what I mean?
He's the best one doing it right now, I think. In terms of like the B movie people, that I mean, we're gonna
It's just
talk about
Beekeeper
one
was
in
the
a
only B
second.
movie.
In terms of like the people, like I mean, we're about to talk about Gerard Butler. Turns out these movies
Yeah,
annually. Liam Neeson does it still. The type of movies. Like if they had come up in the '90s, they would have been on the A Team. Like these movies still come out. A lot of them are shit. Jeff watches them on PVOD. They're not good, but Jason Statham's typically are pretty solid. Like, I really liked The Beekeeper last year. Did not like The Meg 2. The Meg 1 also didn't really like, but there's been some good stuff. Like Transporter series, good. Hobbs and Shaw, it's a big surprise for me.
Yeah.
Like, they're fun. And he's like 58 and somehow still looks the same as he did 20, 25 years ago, if not better. He's ripped now.
Yeah. He looks some good ass shape. And he also, I believe, is still doing The Raid at some point soon.
Oh,
the
yeah.
English or the American or Hollywood, whatever, Raid
Jason
remake.
Statham. You got a job?
Specific set of skills. Yeah.
What's the job?
Yeah, what's
Tell me about the
and
job.
then lastly, there's a new Gremlins and Goonies movies getting the works. Christopher Columbus working on the former. The Goonies is like that feels like almost a no-brainer, especially after like Skeleton Crew, which like was good. Like, and weirdly, like it's not getting a lot of streaming numbers. I think that might eventually change as like parents get more of a hold of it. But the Goonies, I think, kind of makes sense. Gremlins is a bit of a different story. Like I rewatched Gremlins kind of recently, and I don't know that you can recapture the moment that Gremlins lives in modern day. And what I fear more than anything in the world is you just get a bunch of fucking CGI Gremlins running over the place, and you have absolutely no heart and soul to it whatsoever. And I truly, I cannot emphasize enough how much I would detest that.
Yeah, no, it's so the practicality of like the effects plays so much into the enjoyment of it. Like you have to have a very specific. You're gonna have to have a very specific filmmaker who cares about that stuff to make it work. Which I don't I just don't trust Hollywood to do that. Like especially for like something like Gremlins where they just know people will show up. They're not gonna take the time to do it right.
You know,
I
might
hope
be good
they
for
do.
that.
What?
John Favreau.
Favreau would be a great pick. Really,
Yeah.
really good pick. But I mean, is he gonna not do like his hands are full?
He's
He's busy running Disney.
He's got like a Mando. He's got a Mando season, but then like, how long could filming a Gremlins movie take? 3 months?
Those Gremlins cause a lot of trouble.
They do. You can only film during daytime, I guess.
The Goonies
yeah,
thing, though, yeah, no, for sure. Goonies, I think Goonies definitely works.
Yeah.
Same thing. Need to definitely lean into the practicality of it. But I think even like some CGI here and there, would play.
Yeah, that's Gremlins and Goonies. And then lastly, just R.I.P. David Lynch, passed right before we started recording. One of the all-time great surrealist directors. His like top 3 movies I think are like they're true like stand the test of time movies. I've never watched Twin Peaks, and I think this is like the sign to go and watch it. Never got around to it. And I don't think you'll ever find a more rabid fan base of like cult followers than you'll find for Twin Peaks.
Dude, the Twin Peaks movie is like one of the highest rated movies on Letterboxd. It's in like the top 50. Walk with me. I haven't watched it. I don't know why I haven't, because everyone who's like, if you like X-Files, you'll love Twin Peaks. So I don't know why I haven't done that. But yeah, no, he's one of a kind. I know like people say irreplaceable. He's irreplaceable. Like no one's gonna fill those shoes. Just so out of left field every single time. Just willing to take bold, different choices, and they pay off almost every single time.
Yeah. The one of the things I've always liked about him is he was like he's very, very old school, like no compromise, no bullshit type of like boomer mentality, right? But also at the same time, like that's combined with one of the most like eclectic brains artistically in the world. It's like a bizarre combination because like his like general attitude should be applied to like the fucking like some guy that worked for a Ford factory.
He's
or
like
whatever,
Clint Eastwood.
You know?
Like he's got like kind of a Clint Eastwood mentality to him.
Just Clint Eastwood with a totally different artistic sensibilities about him.
Yeah.
And I've always really appreciated it about him. Really, really good director and also good actor. I mean, he just
I was about to say one of the better director actors we've ever had.
One of the last things he was in was he crushed it as John Ford.
Yep.
That was fucking
the
out of nowhere.
At the bottom, it looks good, or it's interesting. If the horizon's at the top, it's interesting. The horizon's in the middle, it looks like shit. Now get the fuck out of my office.
Dude, it's so fucking good. And also he did this really weird movie during quarantine called I think What Did Jack Do? Where it was the monkey. It's like a black and white movie where it's like him
Oh,
interrogating a monkey that talks. Like it was
see, that's what
so
I'm talking
fucking
about.
weird. I remember reviewing that. But yeah, great director, great mind, great like he's one of the great like you go watch his YouTube clips of him just like ripping on people. Like he'd be at like either be like videos like producers where they'd be like, I think you should cut this scene. He's like, what the fuck? Fucking cut a scene? Are you crazy? Like he's just such a like a hard ass in that way. And like other clips of like him being like interviewed by real like I don't want to say film snobs, but like kind of like film snobby people. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I think what you were trying to go for was the interconnected synapses of this. Am I right on that? And he's like, no. Like it's so funny. He has like a million clips like that. I've always had like a soft spot, even if like he's made movies like I don't like or whatever, or I don't totally connect with. But like I've always appreciated. He's like, I'm gonna make what I want to make. If you like
Mhm.
it, great. If you don't, fuck you. I always kind of respect that about him.
Yeah, he'll be missed. I mean, that's a
Big
huge
time.
loss. Very young
Um,
too. I know 78 seems old, but
yeah, it feels young.
yeah,
And now for a movie I'm sure he would have loved, Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, a movie we're pretty excited about because well, you watched Den of Thieves very late. You watched
yeah.
it like a
I mean,
month
like two
ago.
weeks ago.
Yeah, for the first time. I've always been like a very big I understand parts of this movie that are cheesy and bad. At the same time, I just love it. And I think you had a great analogy to describe it. What was it again? It was like
It's like functionally it is. I mean, it rips heat. It's ripping off heat very hard, like so hard. Which I'm sure Heat also rips something off too, but it's a very clear Heat type movie. But the execution of it and spirit, like spiritually, it's the town. Like it's so fucking grimy and like dirty,
mhm,
like dudes rock kind of filmmaking.
mhm.
The Heat's much more like respectable. Like it's very
Yes.
critically respectable. Like great performances. I mean, it's well made. Michael Mann, obviously. The town is like it's a grimy Boston movie, and that's how I felt about Den of Thieves.
Yeah, grimy LA movie, gross. Gook.
Mhm.
I really enjoy the actual heist, the physical heist in Den of Thieves, the first one a lot.
I think the
Uh,
last 40 minutes are incredible.
very, very good. Great gunfights, great action, good lines too.
Yeah.
And just like good stand. Like I feel like there's a lot about that ending that we like, and like there are parts of it that are very corny '90s movie, which I appreciate it. I do feel like sometimes that got mixed in like the vibe of the movie, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. Like if the vibe you're going for is like, hey, we're doing like serious heist gunfight like in the middle of the fucking street versus like give me some Pepto Bismol or like, oh, I dropped my donuts in your crime scene. Like that's a bit of like a mixed
Yeah.
but whatever. But I don't know. I really like Den of Thieves and you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah. Not as I think it is a shame if we don't have fights on here. I feel bad for fights not being able to see it yet. Fights is
Yeah,
probably
it's
the biggest. I know he's the biggest Gerard Butler fan on the face of the planet.
for sure.
Definitely one of the biggest Den of Thieves fans too. Did Owen go with you all? You and Clemmer?
No, it was just me and Clemmer. We went on like the Thursday night previews.
Yeah, Owen also. Baby boy Owen. He saw
He
it for the
watched it
first
for the
time
first time
last
right
year.
before you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and he watched it I think like 3 times in like 2 weeks. He was just logging 5 stars over and over again. Very
Yep.
funny.
Dude, it was a good ass movie. And yeah, fights. I sent him I didn't tell him an empty folder, and I told him like, hey, I know you're sick. Here's Den of Thieves 2. And
Hmm.
he was like, I can't do it. I gotta watch it on the big screen. I'm like, good thing you did that, because that file was full of malware that would have immediately infected your computer and shut it down. So good for him. True Big Nick beater. So Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. Big Nick is back on the hunt in Europe and closing in on Donnie, who is embroiled in the treacherous world of diamond thieves and the infamous Panther Mafia, Pantera. As they plot a massive heist at the world's largest diamond exchange. Gerard Butler, O'Shea Jackson Jr., and a bunch of Europeans. Um, so Den of Thieves 2. This is a movie, and I think the biggest takeaway I took, and I think I tweeted as much like the second I got out of the theater, was that um, Den of Thieves 2 is about as good as the original movie, just in very different ways. Where Den of Thieves 1 is very like, hey, grimy, gross, big action, big like cornball sequence, like all that shit. Like this was more like instead of big grimy, forcible heist, this was like finesse, sleek heist.
Hmm.
and a bigger focus on, instead of it being where, in at least in my interpretation of the first Den of Thieves, it's like, hey, here's our big three-dimensional sort of character in Big Nick O'Brien, and then a bunch of one-dimensional guys, like
Hmm.
you kind of like one-note characters or whatever, and you want to call them. And this was more like, hey, let's focus on chemistry between O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Gerard Butler, and I think that worked really well. Their chemistry, I thought, was awesome. Really good moments between them. I wish they did a little more of that. But overall, I enjoyed Den of Thieves quite a bit. Den of Thieves 2 quite a bit. I kind of, I'd say I missed some of the stuff from Den of Thieves 1 that they didn't include in this one, but then I would also say I would want some of the stuff from Den of Thieves 2 to have been in Den of Thieves 1. So I think they're complementary, and maybe if they set themselves up for a third movie, maybe the third one will have a perfect combination of them both.
Oh, brother, they're making like 5 of these. They're making probably like 5, 6 of these. And to me, I didn't enjoy this as much as the first one. I'm not gonna act like I'm a super fan of the movie. Obviously, just saw it 2 weeks ago. But it was a step down for me. Still very enjoyable and very much in the same lane. But to me, it was like the jump from the first Fast and Furious to the second. For the first one,
Hmm.
so grounded, stealing DVDs. I guess the second one is what, Tokyo Drift,
I
right?
think the second one they were stealing the truck of DVDs or DVD TVs or whatever the fuck that was.
I
Or was
guess I
that
should say
cocaine? They're in Miami in the second one.
it's more of a progression. So yeah, no, it would be first one to the second one. Where the second one really becomes much sleeker, much campier. They figured out what people really loved from the first one, and I think they cranked it up to 10. And that's what happened here. I wish there was, especially in the action, they had retained a lot of that realism from the first one, like especially the gunplay. The first one in the
Yeah.
gunplay, the way they like the body parts they shoot and how they shoot and the sounds it makes, it just kind of feels very real. Um, this one became much more like your standard action flick
Yeah.
that you get kind of annually, but the comedy was way better. Like the relationship between Nick and
Donnie.
Donnie, Donnie played up way more. And I think for that was a great choice. Um, Nick being fully divorced, getting the wife out of getting the wife out of the picture, great decision. Because I mean, the night out in the city was just an unbelievable sequence. But a good time overall. Like if you like the first one, I have a tough time seeing how you wouldn't like the second one. And I do want more of this. I think, like you said, I think by the third one they can figure out the right blend. Um, and I want to see him go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think the one thing we mentioned this ahead of the time too. Like I was kind of worried about it being in Europe, because they did like slums of LA, which I thought was good because it added to that like grimy aesthetic. And I think there should have been a meeting point between that and like south of France, Diamond District or something like
Yeah.
that. Like something grimier, because this is like full grime to like pretty upscale. And I wish there was a meeting point between that, and maybe that's where this next one goes. Although I don't think so, based on the ending. But I think there was some stuff that I really liked about this. I did, like you mentioned, the humor and the fun element of it, I think, was up in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the heist itself was like much more of an actual heist, I guess you could call it. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like the heist in Den of Thieves, the first one, is more just like it's kind of like the setup of the heist and then bang, escape. And escape is the big part. And
Yes.
this is more like all about that actual physical heist. And I did enjoy that part quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And what they're stealing, like they're stealing like cash from the Federal Reserve in the first one that's going to get thrown out anyway. Here, they're just diamond thieves. They're
Yeah.
not stealing like this isn't money that's getting thrown out. They're stealing like real shit. And the team is more expanded. I didn't really care for like the secondary players on the team
I
all that
liked how
much.
they were all chubby. I like how it was just a team of chubby thieves.
The scene where they're changing the music around was very funny. Like
Yeah.
that was good. But then like the leader being like a model and them acting like she's the hottest woman to ever live was kind of crazy. But um, the whole team element didn't work for me as much as it did in the first one, but it was still fine.
Yeah, I agree. The secondary characters were not nearly as good here. Um, I think some of the things I didn't love about it were the one of the big strengths of the first movie is Pablo Schreiber versus Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like this, like it didn't have a good villain, and that's fine, I think. But at the same time, like I was missing that true like clash of these guys versus those guys, because like you kind of just have these like nameless, faceless, unmemorable mafioso guys and diamond executive, whatever. Like that to me, I'm just like, I don't really fucking care. So I think it was kind of missing that, and I think that's something maybe you get more of in this next one. And also, but I do think in the grand scheme of things, the more I'm thinking about it, it is kind of cool narratively how you go into the third one, because first one they're direct, like Nick thinks he has it over on Donnie. Donnie gets out over him. Now they're working. You see them functionally work together. But then it's Nick getting over on him this time, and now like this next one, like it's on. You know what I mean? Like I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, no, I want to see them really just team up. Like I was kind of upset. I mean, like I knew it was coming, but the whole way through, I'm like, please, don't turn him in. Don't turn him in. Please don't do it. And then the end happens, and you're just like, fuck. Yeah, no, it weirdly does. I shouldn't say weirdly, but it almost feels like they went in with a plan of like, there's gonna be a third one. Like we're gonna, like they know that they have a green light for the third one. It feels like, just the way they set the villains up. Because I mean, the main villain really is the mafioso. I mean, I can't remember what his name was now. The Don, hiding out in the Italian countryside, which I think will be very interesting in the third one. Like that's awesome. Like Donnie working for the mafia, probably trying to get out. Maybe with the help of Big Nick. Who knows? Trying to get a clean slate.
Yeah, they offer him like maybe Donnie works for Interpol because now he has all his experience working with that French dude. Yeah. Which was also funny, him just like hating the French and then being like, "No, you do pronounce it croissant," like all that shit.
Dude, they made him the most American man in Europe of all time. Like, he couldn't pronounce croissant. Like there were so many things where it was just like, this is the most comically like American thing you could possibly think of. Like, they were at the very end. They're like at the table, and they're in Italy, and they're all going around saying thank you, and they're like grazie, and he's like, how do you say thank you in Italian? It's like, there's no way you don't fucking know that.
The funny thing is too, like you think that like he was like from Oklahoma or something. He lived and grew up in L.A. Like he knows this shit.
Like a very like culturally like diverse city that you probably run into it at some point.
It has to. But yeah, and I liked by the way, before I forget, like just talking about like some of the back and forth, the chemistry stuff between O'Shea Jackson and or Donnie and Big Nick. Like the scene where they're talking to each other, talking about like what their dads did and stuff, like that's cool shit.
Yeah, the whole wall scene. Yeah,
riding the scooters and just crashing them like drunk, like it's just fucking funny. That's funny, good stuff right there.
That was such a buddy, like gay little buddy. Like, there's gonna be edits like on TikTok of that, where like a Taylor Swift song over the top.
Yeah, going. But yeah, overall, I would say that I enjoyed it quite a bit. But like, I'm not gonna pretend it's like some fucking like, great cinema. I think I scored it around the same that I would scored the first Den of Thieves, like low 70s, like 71, 72, something like that. Enjoyed it a lot. It's a good like Dudes Rock movie, not as Dudes Rock as the first one, but still really enjoyed it. And I would recommend it. It's a good heist movie.
Yeah, it'd be hard to do better. I mean, in theaters right now, in terms of new releases, there's a lot of stuff coming back to theaters or expanding nationwide right now as we get like closer to the Oscars. Definitely check out some of that stuff that's like nominated. But like in terms of new releases, this is as good as you're going to get right now. I'm at a 60, which sounds like bad, but it's a good, enjoyable movie. If you like the first one, you'll like this. I had the first one at like a 75. Good time. I'm looking forward to 3. Yeah. They need to not do a subtitle next time, by the way. The PANTERA.
That was interesting because me and Clemmer, when we were watching it, the subtitles just weren't on. So that kind of hurt the enjoyment a little bit, I would say. Like I don't know what happened. Like the reel that we had, they just did not have subtitles or anything. Like you pick it up with context clues, but like, and I could understand a very, very limited amount of when they were speaking Italian. I had nothing for the French, but like you picked up the context clues at least, but that was tough.
What the hell? I'm trying to think of even how that happens.
I have no goddamn clue. It was like literally just 0 subtitles on any part of it. And I thought it was like on purpose at first. Like, I'm like, okay, like something's like the reason behind this. But no, just did not, just never at any point did it have any subtitles. Very, very bizarre. But yeah, again, that's Den of Thieves. What do we got coming? Where are we at the 16th? We have Wolfman. We have Back in Action, the Netflix movie, which doesn't look good.
That looks really bad, man.
Yeah, Wish You Were Here. I think we would do out of these Wolfman for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough month. It's January. Yeah. It's not a good January. There's a lot of great stuff coming to theaters, expanding, coming back. Brutalist is pushing nationwide. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. For sure. And go listen to our review. Trying to think of what else. I saw Seed of a Sacred Fig, by the way. Great.
Good ass movie, right?
Very, very good. If that's playing near you, it's 3 hours long, which might sound a little daunting, but it doesn't.
I never really felt it. Really.
Yeah. Very tense. It's sold as like a drama. That's a thriller. Like that.
Yeah.
That was a tense ass movie.
But yeah, and some other things we could talk about really quick. American Primeval was on Netflix. Peter Berg series.
Yeah, I saw you were watching that.
What's that?
I saw you were watching that and liked it.
Yeah, I finished it up. Taylor Kitsch. Fucking goddamn it! I keep saying this. I'm not gonna forget his name. Because I think of like 15 dudes' names when I think of this guy's name, and it really fucking messes me up. Shea Wiggum. I keep thinking Stephen Delane, Garrett Dillahunt, and like 3 other actors' names, and I can't. Even though Shea Wiggum is, like, no offense to those guys, better than them. Like, he's such a good actor. He's in it. And he plays Jim Bridger, who, if I remember correctly, in Inglourious Bastards, that's like who Brad Pitt says he's like a descendant of, right? He's like, I'm a descendant of Mountain Man Jim Bridger. Right?
Yeah, he does say that.
It's a pretty cool series about like the Mormons out in Utah during like the expansion out west. Brigham Young is in it. Kim Coates playing Brigham Young. Taylor Kitsch, a couple other actors, Jai Courtney, Dane DeHaan, who we interviewed a while back. We actually interviewed Jai Courtney too. Good, pretty fucking good series. Very raw, very brutal, very bleak. No saturated. I think he desaturated this by like a 99%. It's like about as close to being almost black and white as it can get. But it's good as series, good story, very, very, very interesting. So I would highly recommend it. And then Skeleton Crew, which did you watch the finale?
No, I'm gonna finish it up in probably just like a day. Just sit down one night and watch it all.
Yeah, solid finale, I would say. And
like I said,
pretty good show.
I liked it. I mean, I've liked it so far. It should be way more popular.
And what was the viewership numbers are bad.
I think so many people have just checked out on these Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
Given up.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a bummer, which it stinks because it said the franchise low, which is not good. 20% lower than Acolyte, which did not deserve any of those viewers. If you were someone that checked out of Star Wars because of Acolyte, watch Skeleton Crew. And actually, I don't even know if you should say that, because this is a show like built for like the sort of a weird or sort of a demographic of like ages where it's like, hey, are you a parent watching with a kid? Great. Are you like somewhere between the ages of like 10 and 18? You might like this. It's kind of like a weird gray area for most of our audience, which is like 20 to 30-year-old, 30-something-year-old guys. But like it is good. It's a good series and enjoyable, good mystery, goofy, like fun time. It's very, very fun.
Yeah, and just competently made. Like, it looks good and like it's paced well. The writing makes sense. The story's
lots
fun.
Of practical.
I really I've been recommending it to everyone in the Chicago office. They asked me about it. I'm like, yeah, no, it's because they're like, is Robbie just being a Star Wars fan? Because Robbie's been singing like high praise of it, and I'm like, no, he's being truthful. It is a very good show. I also saw that you were watching Bleach once again.
I've been trying. It's such a slog sometimes because like it's
like 50% filler, by the way.
Yeah, I gathered that, which is an issue because like I'll sometimes I'll like fall asleep during it, like while I'm watching it, and I'll have skipped like 10 episodes and be the next one. I'm like, oh, I can tell I missed something, but I haven't seemed to have missed that much.
Like, just running around the Soul Society, probably just running around.
But I did find a new very funny anime which I plowed through. I think it was like 8 episodes or something like that, called MASH, The Magic and Muscles. Dude, it's so fucking funny. It is such a like it's literally it's a beat for beat kind of ripoff of Harry Potter, where like it's like teenage guy at a wizarding school. But instead this is like he's the main character. He can't use magic, and people who can't use magic are like discriminated against. but he is so jacked and muscular that he just beats magic with his muscles. Like
So,
anytime
just
people
Rock
cast
Lee.
like they cast a spell on him and he just beats the spell into submission by punching it, or like people will like he'll be attacking someone and they'll be like, because you have to like say the spells, you have the wands and all that shit, and he'd just be like, yeah, tricep spell, and he'll like suplex someone. It's so fucking, it's
That's wild.
badass. It's
That sounds like something I will definitely check out. Like I
yeah.
was iffy on Primeval, but this, hell yeah.
Yeah, this isn't, and it's easy. It's like 8 episodes, goofy, funny, and very enjoyable.
Yeah, my Asian girlfriend's visiting this weekend. I think I know what I'm gonna watch.
She does not a fan of anime, not at all.
Um,
As much as I've tried, believe me. But yeah, so now we can do our draft. We talked about it before, doing a draft of the best heist movies. So we're gonna do 10 options. We'll start with you and go to me, and then we'll snake our way back.
ooh, me
So
off the bat.
it's not the worst. In this case, there's so many good options that I don't actually think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, that's the issue. There's like I'm looking at like 10 movies right now that I could make a case for as number one. I will, in honor of Den of Thieves, I will take Heat. Heat number one. Just classic. It gets better every time I watch it, and it's like the kind of movie making that just you don't get anymore. One of the best sounding, I think, best sounding movies ever. Even on like my home system, I would die to see it in a theater. Sounds so good. The performances, fantastic. Al Pacino, like right at the cusp of like where he was very still much like a respected dramatic actor, but hadn't gone full overboard into his hoo-ha territory. He's great. De Niro still like hot, young, like just ripping, like just pounding ass.
This was like the last De Niro like looking young movie in my brain. Like this is the
Yeah.
last time he looked like that age versus looking old.
Mm-hmm. Kilmer, obviously fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Just
Michael.
the color blue looks so good. I love it. I think it's mandatory viewing if you're a man over the age of like 18. And
yeah,
no, it's great.
The sound, I believe the gunfights, like they did them all, and they were gonna like ADR the gunshots and stuff, right? And then they like listened to it, and Michael Mann was like, "This sounds fucking cool! Like the reverberations of the gunfire off the buildings. Let's just keep this."
Yeah,
Fucking
no,
badass.
it rules.
If I remember correctly, also he told Pacino like, "Hey, your character is gonna have a coke addiction, so be a little crazy." And then he just cut that whole idea after the movie was done. So when he does all that, she's got a great ass. Like that's all supposed to be a coke addict fiend, and he just never became a thing.
I kind of wish they kept that in. I'm also very much still on board for Heat 2, which I don't know if that's still happening, but
yeah, it's gonna be Driver as De Niro, right?
Yes, I think it was like Driver as De Niro. I think they were talking about bringing like Butler in as Kilmer's kid.
I thought this was a prequel.
Oh,
right?
I thought you just meant in terms of roles, like in terms of
Heat 2 is a prequel.
Oh,
wait, he wrote Heat 2 as a novel already. How did I know that? I feel stupid now. He had planned film adaptation with Adam Driver to play a young Macaulay. Austin Butler portraying Chris.
Was that Kilmer's
Kilmer.
Name? Yeah.
Anna de Armas playing. Whoo. Jeremy Allen White, Channing Tatum pursuing roles in the film. Ooh. I was just rewatching Bullet Train recently. Actually, I forgot how fucking funny Channing Tatum is. So funny. He's a funny actor. Yeah. Okay. So you got Heat off the board. One of the best heist movies. Arguably the best heist movie ever. I mean, the next one up has to be Ocean's 11. Don't really have much of a choice. One of the best heist movies you'll ever see. I think when you're talking about like the formula of heist movies, it's like the perfect formula. Like that is the exact formula you want for any heist movie. It's here's quick intro to your main character. Here's recruiting all the guys. Here's the bomb guy. Here's the acrobatics guy. Here's the con man. Here's the like. You go through and you recruit every character one by one. They're all like eccentric kooks, and then you go and you do the heist. And the heist in Ocean's 11 is just perfect. It's about as perfect as you can get. And they've tried to replicate it throughout the years with other Ocean's movies, and they've never captured that same level of magic. But at the same time, Danny Ocean, Rust, all these guys, just it's perfectly cast, perfectly executed movie. Love it.
No, it's a great pick. Great pick. I mean, Jeff would probably murder me if he knew that I didn't take it first overall. And like you said, it completely changed. I mean, heist filmmaking still is like it created a new formula or perfected that formula, and I think a lot of people have chased that high. Not just the Oceans franchise, but like so many other people have tried to recreate that since.
Yeah,
Especially like the team, like you said, the team gathering is so fun. Like getting introduced to Damon's character on the Chicago subways, like so good.
yeah.
The Elliot Gould character, great.
Elliot Gould was so good in it. Good lord.
Bernie Mac. Someone was posting about Bernie Mac yesterday. Bernie Mac's so underrated as an actor. Great stuff.
Now I'm in the next movie up, which is this is where it gets a lot more complicated. I think there are movies which I think are better heist movies, and other movies where I'm like, this is a better overall movie. I think I'll go with one. People are gonna be so fucking pissed. I don't care. I'm gonna go with my heart. Logan Lucky. I fucking love Logan Lucky. I think it's so funny.
No complaints here. I think it very much deserves to be in the conversation of these top 5 spots.
Soderbergh again, just it's so fucking. It's a really on top of it being very funny, super super funny. Again, we just mentioned Channing Tatum a minute ago. Adam Driver, like fucking Jack Quaid, like randomly like Hilary Swank, like random character, like and on top of that,
Seth
by the way,
MacFarlane.
on top of and Seth MacFarlane with an English accent, and then on top of that, like fucking Daniel Craig is so good in this. Like he got a ton of accolades and for like his accent and as Benoit Blanc in Knives Out, he's so good. What's his name, like Danny Bang or something in this?
Yeah, Danny Bang, make the bang go,
dude. He's so funny. It's super super funny, and the heist itself is really good. It's cool. It's well thought out, interesting, good twists and turns throughout it, and happening in the West Virginia singing into it. Like I just like it. It's great vibes, really good watch, and it has probably the most evergreen joke ever put into a movie ever with the Game of Thrones thing in the prison.
It's like this movie's almost 10 years old now.
Yeah, it was 2017 that came out, and the great scene in the prison riot where like the win's a winner ain't supposed to be coming around for another 2 years. That can't be possible. Like
I forgot Dwight Yoakam and
yeah, is the warden.
Who's the prisoner? Isn't it? Fuck, I can't remember his name.
I forget.
Yeah,
but really really good movie. Enjoyed it a ton. And I feel like there are movies on here that are functionally like you might be, this is a better movie. Like as far as like when I'm thinking heist movie, like you can go take 5 to a desert island. Like I would put Logan Lucky on there for sure.
Yeah, my first introduction to Riley Keough too.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's ex-wife or no sister of
she's sister.
Yeah,
who ends up with Joe Bang.
That's right, with Joe.
Now
Bang.
peeking. Little Milli Vanilli.
Dude, he's so fucking good in that.
We are dealing with science. It cuts to him like putting on like a actual chemical like reaction formula, like painting it on the wall.
The bleached ass hair, like
whoever came up with that. I mean, that character is such a inspired choice. So
there was like those tweets that went around about like actors with range. Fucking Daniel Craig, man, going from like James Bond to that is insane. And like even when you go back into like his earlier filmography, like him in like Road to Perdition as a Chicago gangster, like you wouldn't be able to tell at all he's English. Like it's crazy how good his range is.
Yeah, I would love to know who he does like accent work with, or if he's just like, I want to do that accent.
He could do almost anything. It feels like it's crazy.
It feels like he has a lot of fun doing the voices too. Like he's got a suave, just an unbelievable suave British accent. But it seems like he's having the most fun when he gets to just do some campy ass shit.
Yeah.
All right.
You got back to back.
Ooh, this is tough. All right, I got Heat. That's from the 90s. I kind of want to spread the board out a little bit. I'm gonna do a pick. You know what? Fuck it. No, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna pick a classic, and then I'll wheel around. I'm gonna go with the Sting. Sting, Paul Newman, Robert Redford. Their first collab together before Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Really good. I mean, just really, really phenomenal movie. A great heist, and just I love when you got just two handsome ass men. Just they love each other.
You could have picked Butch Cassidy too, I think.
What was that?
You could have picked Butch Cassidy too, I think, technically.
Yeah, I mean, it's still on the board. It's on my list. it's on my list, but I prefer the actual heist in this movie a
Sure.
little bit better because Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid's more. The heist is good, but it's more of like
That's not like the main
Yeah.
character of it. Yeah.
it's more like about them. This is like the old man taking in the new young gun, teaching him
Yeah.
the ropes and how to pull off the heist, and I really enjoyed that. I mean, it's a great movie. If you've never seen it, definitely watch it. It's a classic for a reason. Then I'm gonna pick this. Actually, no, you're not allowed to veto this because this counts. This counts. The heist is awesome. People act like it's a smart movie. It's not that smart of a movie. It's just a lot of fun. That's Christopher Nolan's Inception.
Damn. I was gonna try and sneak that in late because I thought like you might not think about it, but it is. It's 100%, 1,000%. It is Heist. Although technically speaking, and I mean this in the most technical way, they don't steal anything.
No, they put something.
They put it back. They put something into it. So technically speaking, not a heist, but at the same time, is
getting
a heist.
in and getting out without ever.
That's
without
burglary.
anybody ever. What was that?
That's burglary. That's not a heist.
I think it's a heist. I think Inception's
Or
100%
trespassing. I don't know what you would call that.
There is a
maybe, I'm
heist
not
at the
sure.
beginning of the movie. They do take at the beginning of the movie, right?
They do take. That's true. But then is the heist of the movie him stealing from Ken Watanabe or whatever?
No.
Or wait, no, they're not stealing from him. I forget. I don't remember who it was.
They steal from Ken Watanabe because he's trying to test them. Remember?
On purpose, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, even though it's like technically not a heist, it's a heist movie.
Yes. I mean, they put the team. I mean, they do the whole team together.
They do the whole thing.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, just a fun ass movie. I think weirdly in the past like 10-ish years, it became like it almost has like a Wolf of Wall Street effect to it, where the fan base is so film bro that it like gets a negative connotation because of that. But
yeah,
I think it's great regardless. Like it's prime Nolan. Like, and I don't mean him as like at the peak of his powers, but it is like quintessential of like what he likes to do. And
yeah,
it's so much fun because of that. Leo's great. Like it's basically his
like your
Bond.
fifth build guy is Tom Hardy doing a great performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love it. I really like it, and the score obviously iconic.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. It's another one that's gonna like just piss people off. I feel like they're like,
yeah, but like go like I don't know why I'm sure it's just because of the film bro stuff, but like it has weirdly like moved down people's Nolan rankings like to the bottom. Like some people have it near the bottom. I'm like, it's a really fucking like you need to rewatch it. It's really good.
I
like,
think my bottom of Nolan is pretty squarely like Tenet, Insomnia, which like his bottom is some other director's best, but it's all relative. Like that's like his clear bottom. I don't know what the next tier would be.
I put like Dark Knight Rises down there too, but even then, like
I would
that's in his bottom tier. It made $1 billion.
Yeah, I would put like Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises there. Like
I'm a Begin shooter.
No, you can. I agree, and again, this is all relative. It's all relative. Like just in the same tier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what would be like the next like in between. Like then I think it would be probably Interstellar, Inception. Be right.
Same thing happened to Interstellar for a while too, where people were.
Yeah, that's very true. People like really turned on that, and I think it's because of like this weird like straw man argument of like people think it's a smart movie. Like I don't really know what that was ever like a huge thing.
What people think in terms of its intelligence
shouldn't affect your assessment of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have Inception off the board.
They should IMAX release that, by the way.
Yeah,
Inception.
That re-release would make a fuckload of money, man. Did you see how much money, by the way, Wicked made on PVOD?
Oh.
It made like $100 million on PVOD. It's fucking crazy.
That's gross.
It made like half as much money as Blade Runner 2049 did in their like worldwide release, just in PVOD.
Goes to show what I know, because I was like, no way they pull it like from theaters this early. Or like, go ahead and put it on digital.
Yeah.
It's got legs. Nothing's coming out in January.
Yep.
No, they're like, here's 6 deleted scenes. Come pay, piggies.
Fucking insane. Okay, for my next one, I think I'm squarely on Inside Man. I love Inside Man. I think it's one of Spike Lee's best. It's very, very good. I think in multiple levels. I think the actual heist is cool. Like it's maybe you have to like suspend your disbelief a little bit, blah blah blah. But like I love the heist. I love the ending. I love this sort of battle of brains between Clive Owen, who I think is excellent in the movie, and Denzel Washington, who is fantastic fantastic in that movie. A lot of like classic Spike Lee filmmaking moments, like the moving on a fucking moving what do you call those things, like a moving sidewalk type deal, or just like him sitting on a dial moving. I love it. I love the ending with like the diamond in the pocket. I love the only thing that I think in that movie kind of gets a little I don't know how to explain it. Like maybe they added one too many layers into it. Is like the whole Nazi gold thing or whatever, or like these guys deal with Nazis with like Christopher Plummer. But again, like it's like I don't know what you replace that with, but at the same time, really enjoyed it. Great heist, great production value. Willem Dafoe is like a fucking SWAT leader. Really enjoyed it. I haven't watched it in a long time. I have to go rewatch. Or a long time, probably like 4 years. But like I got to go rewatch that, man. That is an all time great heist movie in my opinion.
Not gonna lie, I thought you were talking about a different movie. um,
Which one do you
I'm
think I was talking
realizing
about?
I have not seen this.
You never seen Spike Lee's Inside Man?
Mm-mm. But yeah, no, I'm adding it to the watch list right now. As Jodie
Very,
Foster.
very good movie. Great soundtrack or great music anyway too. Composer, I forget who it was, but
Oh yeah, there's some. This is a deep cast.
dude, you're gonna enjoy yourself. You should watch that tonight. That's a good ass movie.
I might. No, I really think I will. It's on Prime Video.
Oh, if it's on Prime Video, I'm watching it tonight. Okay, so after Inside Man, it's like, what do I want? Functionality or fuck it, the town. Taking the town. Fuck it, just taking the town.
Hell yeah.
Not even gonna think about it. It's like, again, there's movies that I'm gonna pick after this that are better overall movies, but I like the heist in the town a lot. Again, part of it's like dumb brain, but like robbing Fenway Park in Boston in a movie directed by and starring Ben Affleck, just there's some magic about that. Lots of good lines in it, like the whole like whose car we taking, like all that shit. Like I enjoy it. I think the romance subplot's a little like unnecessary, but like the all of the sort of like hunting the crew, going after the what was Pete Postlewaite's character's name? I forget, like Patty or whatever, the Irish guy.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
There's like the escape, the I'm not going back to Brandon,
Fergie.
like all that.
Fergie.
Fergie, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's just a lot to love about the town. Some of it's goofy, some of it's corny, some of it's cheesy. But I've always enjoyed the town. And I rewatched it kind of recently, right before rewatching The Accountant, right after that. Which I want to talk about a fucking goofy ass movie. But yeah, I enjoy the town a lot, so I'm gonna pick it.
I mean, this deserves to go top 5 for Blake Lively alone.
Yeah,
that's one of the best looking women ever put on screen. Or is just the trashy hometown bartender.
yeah.
Which that if that bar existed and that bartender existed in that bar, there'd be a line out the door all the way to like fucking.
Oh yeah.
There'd be a line to Newton, Mass.
To fucking Newport, dude. There'd be like
crazy. But yeah, no, that it gets dogged as like a good bad. I don't think it's good bad. I think it's good. Like I think that's a very good movie.
Yeah,
and
I think it's good. I love all like they did a good job casting like the non-mains too. Like the other guys in his crew are like I fully believe that man is just a townie from wherever nearby suburb of Massachusetts. Like I fully believe that. And a lot of like obviously like even like RAs in it and stuff like that. Like I fully believe a lot of the setting stuff in that. And I think that kind of goes to like the dedication of Affleck for that. But I enjoyed the town a ton.
No, it's a great pick.
Yeah, so you get back
I'm
to
up
back now.
All right, I'll start. We'll go Guy Ritchie, a movie we talk about all the time, Snatch. Love Snatch. Snatch is like one of the most stylish, like fun movies you can imagine. Another movie which is great characters all around. British to the point of like me loving it. It's like so absurdly. It's the Cockney British that I really love.
And the Gypsy
Snatch
too.
is like stood the test of time in a way I didn't think it would. Like kids love that movie. Like I see like kids on TikTok, like like 18-year-olds posting about it like all the time. Kids on Twitter love it too, which makes me very happy because it's Guy Ritchie needs to get back to that zone of filmmaking. He kind of
did with the Gentleman. I'm gonna fucking stand up for him there. He got there with The Gentleman.
I think it's close. Like it doesn't have The Gentleman doesn't have that grime to it that Snatch does, which might just be a function of the budget being probably a third,
8 million times bigger.
Yeah. But it's great. The characters are great. Brad Pitt as Mickey, doing the most absurd gypsy accent.
You like Dags? Yeah.
You like Dags? And yeah, no, it's great. Dennis Farina, also great. The big close up shots, the big fisheye lenses, the editing, so fun, so fast. Love it. Next up, I'm gonna go back to Michael Mann. Going with Thief.
Thief. Yeah.
Yeah, Thief is
That's a
just
great one.
so vibey. It's such a like the heist is great, but the vibes are just unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's a fucking welder. James Caan's a welder. He's got the synth playing in the background the whole fucking movie. He just got out of prison. He was collaging in prison. He's got the little thing he just carries around. He's like, this is what I'm gonna do.
I think we both have Criterion for that, right? That's great. That's a really good one.
I don't have the Criterion of that, but I need
It's a
to
really
get
good
it.
one.
Saw it in theaters at where did I see that? At the Roxy, if you've ever been there. In Fide Eye. That little ass theater. I mean, great stuff.
Yeah. Second one. Oh wait, no, that was your second one. Sorry.
Yeah. I went.
Yeah, that was your second
Snatch
one.
and Thief.
Okay. I think I'll start with.
That's what they call me when I go out to the bars.
Thief or Snatch?
The Snatch Thief.
The Snatch Thief. I think I'll go with. Fuck, this is where it gets really fucking hard, man. There's like classics on here that I feel like I'm missing by picking some of these like slightly doofier movies.
Yeah.
I think I'll go with one of them in Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah.
Dog Day Afternoon is you want like the whole basically the start to finish takes place in a fucking bang. Like, and it's not necessarily, it doesn't have the same vibe as, it's a little bit more, I don't know how you do what the right word is, like dark or a different vibe than like a typical heist movie. It's definitely not like an Ocean's 11. It's way more different. But Pacino is excellent in it. Like this is back when he was like
he won for this, right?
Yeah. And I think John Cazale also nominated for this, and I think Dog Day won like or at least nominated for a ton. It's a really good movie. Super. I don't want to say ahead of its time is wrong, but it was like dealing with a topic that I don't think many people in like whatever 70 something were comfortable talking about, and like trans stuff at all. But good movie, really like excellent acting like across the board. Specifically, Pacino and Cazale are unbelievable in it. So I would go with that. I just want to get like, I need one true, like that's a classic heist movie, and it's not again in the same vibe as the other ones, which makes me feel bad. But I got to throw it on there.
No, it's a great pick. I mean, that's probably like in terms of like filmmaking, that's probably the best movie that's been selected so far. Like that is a just phenomenal.
Yeah, like
movie.
that or Heat, I guess. But
like that's a legit. Did it win Best Picture? Definitely nominated.
It definitely got nominated for like everything. I don't know what it won.
Yes, like that is a critics movie.
Yeah. And then after that, I'm a little bit torn because there's such, I'm really stuck on this whole vibe thing, because there are certain movies where like a heist happens, but like it's not at the same time, like I don't think of it really as like a heist movie as much, and there are other ones where it's vice versa. Like I think an absolutely excellent movie that also happens to feature a heist is Hell or High Water. So I'll pick Hell or High Water. But it's
I knew you were going to select that at some point. It was on my board, but I was like, Kenjac loves this so much. I would rather hear him
but it's weird because like it is a heist movie, like no question about it. But like in my brain, it's more of like an old school like Western drama. Like it's not like I wouldn't even compare like an Ocean's 11 to Hell or High Water, like in the same stratosphere. Like so it's very hard for me to make that determination. But it is with that, there are multiple like bank heists throughout the movie, so like it's very difficult for me to not have that on my board somewhere.
Yeah, no. And I think most Westerns you could really throw into a heist cat. I mean, so many of them are just about stealing something.
Yeah.
But this one is like, it was and this is what pisses me so much off. This pisses me off about Taylor Sheridan. He's such a talented writer and filmmaker. He did write this one too and directed it, and it's so good. It's like, brother, no one else is making this kind of movie. And no one else, I think, is capable of making this kind of movie either. Dude, and you're spending your time turning out season 2 of The Lioness and Landman, which people like, but it's like
it's a difference between like making like franchising McDonald's or like running a Michelin star restaurant in my brain. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you were being more successful in what you were doing. There is no question about that. But like that is not in my brain as, I don't want to say like important, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's to me, I would much rather you be doing this one thing that you are this excellent at versus churning out a money machine.
Yeah, like we could have had 3 more. We could have had another Frontier trilogy by this point.
Yeah.
If you hadn't done
And
Yellowstone and
dude, the sequence where what's his name? Jeff Bridges comes and talks to him right at the end of it is so good.
dude, I have I shown you that the Frontier trilogy that I got for like $3. They box it up as a box set. It's pretty sick.
They don't call it the Frontier Trilogy. I think they just say like the Sheridan Collection or whatever, but it's Frontier Trilogy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a Hell or High Water. Also, another line I always forget about. I always think it's so fucking cool, although it's probably dumb. But the line in Sicario where, like, she's like, she's talking to what was his name in Alejandro? Kate, like she's talking to Alejandro. She's like, well, what do we do in Tijuana? And he's like, you're asking me how a clock works. For now, let's just start watching the time. And I'm like, fuck, that's cool. That's cool.
That's fine.
People ain't, that's a bar. No one else is doing that shit. But yeah, so Hell or High Water, you gave back-to-back picks.
All right. Sorry, I had like 20 Slack messages come in like all at once. That was not fun. Let's see here. Like I said, there's a few Westerns on my board, but I almost don't want to take them, even though they're probably better movies. I'm going to go out of left field. Probably wait. Actually, I'll wait on that one. I'll go with Tarantino's directorial debut. I'm going to go Reservoir Dogs. A movie some people have as his number one. There's some like real like Tarantino purists who are like, no, his first one is his best one. I don't agree with that. But Reservoir Dogs really does some cool stuff like within the heist genre of like flipping on his head. And it's like the heist is going to happen early and you're going to see the fallout from it, which I love. Like everything in that movie. The nicknames too, awesome. That cold open is so like iconic. Like I can't imagine what it was like in 1990 when that comes out. It's like, what? This is how it's opening? Just a conversation at a dinner table or a diner table with Steve Buscemi talking about Madonna getting fucked and how he won't tip. Great stuff. Tarantino can't act worth a shit.
No, never could.
But just great. I mean, it really like right off the bat you see, Tarantino's like built different. The script is just so fast and the dialogue is so witty and sharp. Every character is 3-dimensional. Very, very good movie. I wouldn't put it in like the top 5 of Tarantino for me, but it's still like he's got one of those filmographies where you go down the line and like Nolan, his worst is most people's best. Yeah.
It is really good. It's another one where I like qualitatively, this is like a better movie than A Town, no question. But it's like, or better than I would say a lot of these movies. But like as far as a heist movie, it was hard because like in my brain I'm like, how much of this do I consider a heist movie or more just like a movie like it's more like conversations, right? I mean, they get like spurts of action, but like I'm thinking about the heist, and like that is where I struggle with a lot of these picks.
Their heist was so fucking poorly planned.
Yeah.
They just went into a fucking store in the middle of the day.
So dumb.
And they're like, I can't believe this fucked up.
How did this happen to us?
How did this work? How did we get caught middle of the day running down the street in LA?
How could this have possibly
all wearing
happened to
suits, matching suits?
They all I feel like a decent amount of these people. I don't know how early in the filmography it was for some of these guys, but like for Buscemi, for like Tim Roth, for fucking I don't even know. Like Keitel was
Madsen.
A little bit older, but like Madsen, a lot of these guys, and they went on to do big stuff too off the back of this.
Yeah, all became Tarantino guys for the most part too.
Yeah, true. And wait, what's Buscemi? Has Buscemi done a second one with Tarantino?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm blanking. I don't think so.
I gotta look this up now.
Because after that, he went with Cohen, and he did. Okay, he's been in 2 movies directed by Tarantino. What's the second one? What the fuck was he? Customers, Mr. Payne. Yeah. Wow. That's fucking weird. I don't know. I mean, he did like other weird directors of that time stuff. Like he went with the Coens and did Fargo, and he was excellent in it and played like kind of like that same sort of like scummy character, scummy weasel or whatever. But yeah, I don't know why. It feels like he would have been a great Tarantino guy.
Wait, what was the second one?
I can't find. I think they were wrong. The original poster was about
You on that Reddit post? I think we're
Yeah, I
probably
went to the
looking
same.
at
I went to the
same
same
exact
one you
Reddit
did.
post.
I went to the same thing you did. Yeah, but
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I think it's just that one. That's crazy.
maybe the movie critic will have Buscemi at some point.
You know, the original. I don't think they're doing the movie critic anymore, which sucks. But the original premise, he would have fit kind of nicely as the main character.
Mm-hmm.
Starts to
Porno
be like a
writer, yeah.
weird pervert, like creep, writing for like a
Oh yeah.
porno mag. Um,
Your second pick.
my second pick. Ooh, ooh. This is, you know what? Fuck it. No, I gotta be true to my heart. This is a good movie. People say it's bad. It's not bad. Point Break.
Hmm.
Point Break. The
On the
original
list.
Point Break. Obviously, 1992.
You don't have to. You don't have to
Yeah.
specify.
I love that. It's like just such a bromance movie. like Keanu and what's his
Dude, Swayze was so hot in
and
that. It was
Swayze, like they
unbelievable.
were so in love with each other. It's so like the more you rewatch, you're like, this is like bordering into like they're gonna kiss. Like they're like talking about like spitting in each other's mouths and like
Directed by a woman too.
yeah, Catherine Bigelow.
One of
When
the
she
great
was
dudes rock
also
movies.
there's a lot of rumors that James Cameron helped on it, which you can kind of feel that at some points. Like very big action sequences, like jumping out of the plane, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love the Dead Presidents
Yeah.
as a heist group because it's they're like doing impersonations while they're doing the heist too, which is so stupid.
So
Like he's like
unnecessary.
they're doing Nixon, like he's doing a Nixon impression, like while he's like robbing a bank. He's like, I'm not a crook.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid. But it's like crank. The goofiness is cranked up to 11, and everyone is on the same page, so it works. Like it's not out of place. Like the Keanu bad acting works because of everyone
Yeah.
else is like so heightened. Everything is heightened. Like you have Gary Busey, also just like an absurd character.
Great pick for this too. He's like a great cop.
Yeah. John C. McGinley is the FBI, the head of the FBI in LA.
Yeah.
I mean,
By the way,
his
looking at,
fucking name is Johnny Utah.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Could not be more perfect. That is such like a Cameron thing too. By the way, if he had any input in that. By the way, just looking at their wiki, the production came close in 1986 with Matthew Broderick. Oh,
Ooh.
that'd be gross. Johnny Depp, which would be great. Val Kilmer and Charlie Sheen all being considered to be the Johnny Utah character, with Ridley Scott directing.
Okay. That there's a winning formula there too.
I think if you have that in late 80s, early 90s, Val Kilmer as Patrick Swayze, and maybe 90s Johnny Depp as Johnny Utah, that's a winning formula. Although I think their ages are, I don't know how far off they are in age. I feel like they are a little bit. I don't know. But
Depp definitely would have looked.
But Ridley Scott, I don't know if Ridley Scott is dude's rock enough to do a Point Break type movie. Like I don't know what that movie would look like at all.
He can get goofy with it. Like Ridley Scott has that like knowing goofiness to him. Like especially late stage where he's like some of his movies turn into full on comedy.
So Point Break off the board. I think I will do next. I'll do Three Kings. Three Kings is a really good heist movie.
I didn't even think that's of that as heist.
Yeah, just a different what do you call it? George Clooney heist, and it's cool. I like stealing gold from Saddam Hussein and the Gulf War or whatever. Just a really cool heist. Mark Wahlberg really good in it. I think it was David O. Russell, right? I think directed it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
That was the original. That's where the beef started between him and Clooney.
Yeah, with him and Clooney. For whatever it is, the art ended up being pretty good. I enjoyed the heist quite a bit. The whole storyline leading up to it. All the actors fucking really good. The scene where, and this one always really stuck with me, and I don't know why, because when I watched it when I was younger, the scene where Mark Wahlberg gets shot and his lung collapses, and they have to like do the thing where they like stick the needle into his lung and inflate his lung. And they decide to do that whole shot with like almost like an X-ray thing where like you're watching his lung reinflate. Oh, so fucking gross. But very good scene. Enjoyed it. Or a very good movie too. On top of all that, enjoyed Three Kings quite a bit.
Yeah, and prime Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
like I've said, Mark Wahlberg has like two things he can really do. It's like playing like a fucking affable idiot, or playing just an affable idiot in the military.
Yeah,
which is what he got to be here, which I loved. And George Clooney just unstoppable in the early 2000s.
Oh yeah. And then I'll follow that up with Ronin. Ronin is one of the all-time great.
Still haven't seen it.
So that's another like must watch in my opinion. It's very similar to Heat, and not just because they both have Robert De Niro, but like it's hey, let's throw this crew together and pull our heist. But this time it's in Europe. I believe they set the record for the most cars destroyed in a car chase sequence or something like that. Like they like beat the Blues Brothers record. But the Ronin heist is super cool, very sleek, good music, great cast too. Like Jonathan Pryce as like an IRA guy organizing this. Sean Bean as a ex SAS dude. That's like the running of security. Stellan Skarsgård as like the German tech guy. Very, very good. Cool plot. Great. Like I would say the heist itself is really good. They have a cool like shootout sequences in the street. And then on top of that, like the fallout of the heist itself is very interesting. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So,
Yeah, no, I need to check it out.
Very good movie. I would highly recommend.
It's been on my watch list for like 6 months now, which is not great.
So now you have 2 picks back to back.
All right, now we get a little weird with it. Little weird with it. I'm gonna take The Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is a heist movie.
I mean,
how is it not a heist movie?
No,
He's
it is.
stealing from the farmers. He's getting in, getting out. I mean, it's literally he puts together a team from the woodland animals.
No, you're right. It's similar to the Inception problem, but not like in the same words. Like they're stealing versus putting back. It's more like
I would argue this is even more so a heist movie than Inception.
You're missing out on some good stuff here, though. I
am, but I really love The Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's my favorite Wes.
Yeah.
So
all right, I won't complain.
Obviously, a completely different vibe than like everything else on this list. Like 4 children, but it's fun. Like if you want to introduce kids to the heist genre, it's a good place to start.
Could be worse.
And some of the best voice acting of all time.
Yeah. I mean, that's like basically every Wes Anderson, like stop action, whatever movie is, you'll get something like that.
Like the behind the scenes of how they got George Clooney to do his lines. Have you ever seen that video?
I don't think so.
It is so funny, and like you wonder how more VAs and like more of these recording things, they don't do it in this style. Like it's just very I don't know how to put it. Low budget, I guess you would call it. Like when he's eating, they have like George Clooney like eating a fucking like burger, like snarfing it down and like talking like making those noises. Like they put him on like a moped to create like that what it sounds like when you're talking on a moped. Like they do everything necessary. Like he's basically acting out everything.
Respect.
Which I love. And it's like a must, like in terms of the seasons. Like I think it's the first movie I watch when fall. When the leaves change, that is the first movie I put on. Which I think it'll be like that until the day I die.
Your second pick.
My second pick. Ooh, you know about one of these movies that I think I could get in the last round, but I really don't want to leave it up to chance.
My 2 are basically set. I know which 2 I'm taking if you're not taking one of them.
All right. I wonder if this is going to be one of them. A movie that takes place in my hometown of Lexington, Kentucky, and that is American Animals. Smaller release.
That's right off.
One that a lot of people haven't seen. Very cool. Very different movie. Stars Evan Peters, very young Evan Peters, very young Barry Keoghan. And it also stars, because it's based on a true story, the actual people who pulled off the heist, which was a group of college kids, Transylvania University in Lexington, stealing from their library.
There's a Transylvania University?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Are they like the vampires?
Yeah, no, actually I was going to do, because I'm trying to TikTok more now that the app is getting deleted.
Yeah.
I was gonna go to their campus and be like, let me in. But yeah, no, so at that university, and they have like the college kids, obviously like 10 years, 15 years later, spliced into the movie, like giving their like confessionals and like talking
That's
about
cool.
it. And it's very funny, very good, awesome, tight heist, well constructed. Definitely check it out if you've never seen it before. I'm putting it on my list, and it is a movie more people need to see.
They're the fucking pioneers. What a whiff.
That's
the Transylvania University pioneers.
I honestly did not know that.
That's about as big a whiff as you can get. Jesus Christ, guys, come on.
The Orlogs.
So American Animals off the board. My last two, I'm pretty set on. Baby Driver. I mean, just Baby Drivers. It's you come down to like the heist versus the rest of it. I think that this movie very similar to like we were talking about, like the setup to execution thing. It's like, hey, here's your crew, here's all your guys, like what their individual jobs are and all that stuff. Here's the heist. Here's in this case, like obviously way more emphasis put on the actual, I would say like the chases and stuff like that. But very Edgar Wright, great music, very very funny. I would say like this and Logan Lucky are probably like the two, looking through the list, the two funniest out of all the movies we're going to see on here. I love Baby Driver, even though two of the guys in that were not they didn't do too great after, I would say. Although, hey, Kevin Spacey, good in it. Alden Ehrenreich, or not Alden Ehrenreich, fucking
Ansel Elgort.
Ansel Elgort. I really truly wish.
Isn't there one more person that's been canceled?
I think there might be that I'm forgetting.
Hold on. I think there is.
By the way, don't let Ansel Elgort ever. And I have no idea what the veracities of any of his stuff. Like I don't know what the situation is, any of his accusations and stuff like that. But like Tokyo Vice is damn good. More people should watch that.
He's phenomenal in it.
Yeah,
he's really good. He's really fucking good in the movie.
Yeah,
or the show.
Yeah, Baby Driver. Baby Driver has to make it. And then my last one, I feel like we would be doing this whole draft a big disservice by not having Den of Thieves on it. So I'll pick Den of Thieves for all the reasons we talked about previously. The last act of it is rips, really, really good. I think the big two of Gerard Butler and Pablo Schreiber both play off each other perfectly. Lots of great retro action scenes, like where my dick's bigger than yours with the pistol range or the gun range, whatever. The whole ending shootout, the actual heist I like, and a lot of the setup stuff I enjoy quite a bit too, even like the corny jokes and all that. So
yeah, no, it's great. I think it starts off really hot, and I think the second act hits a bit of a lull. That kind of gets just carried through the setup and all that stuff like that. Like, sets up nicely, but then once, like I said, that final 40 minutes are incredible. Like the heist and then into the escape. The escape is so good, so good.
Yeah,
I loved that shootout scene.
It's really fun. When he like slowly puts like the fucking saw onto the into the car. Yeah, it rips. Your last pick of the draft.
Oh, I didn't realize I had one more. Okay. Ooh. There's a classic that I really like that I don't think would get me any love.
There's one where, can I suggest it for you to pick? Because I feel like it should make it.
Yeah, what do you have?
The Italian Job.
No.
You don't like The Italian Job?
I do, but that's
you want to talk about like as far as like prototypical formula heist. Like that is one of the ones. That's one of them ones. Charlize Theron and Mark Wahlberg and fucking Ed Norton and goddamn dude. That's Jason Statham is the car guy. Seth Green. I can't believe that. The Mini Coopers.
I'm going with an OG. I'm going with Mission Impossible. First one.
Yeah, I mean,
first one for sure is a heist.
Yeah. No, there's. I mean, you can almost qualify like a lot of them as heist ones.
Yeah. I think Rogue Nation also.
That's the one where they go underwater, right, into the thing. Yeah.
Yes, I think also very much heist. I guess really all of them.
It's recruiting the team and breaking into a place. Although in this case, it's not. They're stealing the knock list. Yeah, so they're stealing. Yeah.
I think the first one is like the most pure heist, especially the team element. Like
even the beginning. The beginning's all team element. Here's Emilio Estevez, tech guy. Here's this woman, con woman, like all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love Tom. And I love Henry Czerny doing his voice.
Good.
His voice, by the way, sounds so. I don't know. When was the
every time I've heard the trailer? Yeah.
Dude, his voice in that trailer is like it's butter on toast. It's so good.
Really enjoyed it. Okay, so our lists are: you have Heat, The Sting, Inception, Snatch, Thief, Reservoir Dogs, Point Break, Fantastic Mr. Fox, American Animals, and you got a lot of animals here. Mission Impossible. I have Ocean's 11, Logan Lucky, Inside Man, The Town, Dog Day Afternoon, Hell or High Water, Three Kings, Ronin, Baby Driver, and Den of Thieves. Some of the ones I wanted to include Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. You mentioned Snatch earlier, obviously with Guy Ritchie. Lock, Stock is an amazing movie, super, super good. I think Guy Ritchie's like first big movie, and I always love the story of it. You mentioned Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise basically made this movie and all of the people attached to it happen, because they could not find a person to buy this movie for distribution in America. And Tom Cruise, somebody like one of their producers just knew Tom Cruise, and so they invited, he was in London, and she invited him to come and watch. So he comes and watch. He says that Tom Cruise walks in. I think this was Guy Ritchie or Matthew Vaughn was saying this. Tom Cruise walks into the theater that they're screening it at, and at that point, there's all these like mid-level, low-level peons from the studios there, and they all see Tom Cruise walk in, and they all sprint out to the phones, and then 5 minutes, like 5-10 minutes later, like, all these executives start pouring in to watch, and Tom Cruise at the end like stands up and says like, "Hey, I love this movie, and you'd be an idiot not to buy it." And then that creates Guy Ritchie, creates Matthew Vaughn, creates like all these actors that were attached to it, like fucking Jason Statham. God damn it, what's his name? The guy. Oh my god.
Vinny Jones?
There's like a million English actors in it that you can trace your origins to that. Even like god damn, there's a lot of them. I'm brain farting today. This is a long episode. But yeah, I think Lock, Stock should be mentioned. Bottle Rocket probably too.
Yeah.
I mean, another heist one from our good boy Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson. Yeah. Kelly's Heroes, really good heist movie too. Stealing Nazi Gold, always plays.
Haven't seen that one.
Now You See Me.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. That's definitely a heist movie.
It's definitely a heist movie. I never had the love for Now You See Me that I think you and Jeff had. So like, it's tough for me to.
I wouldn't put it in. It wouldn't break this list of the 20 movies that we have already.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's good for sure. And yeah, a heist, no doubt.
And the Italian Job, which I mentioned, I love the Italian. I have a very fond spot for the Italian Job. I think it's a good movie, good heist too. And you know what I always enjoyed about that too was the fact that like the whole idea is like Edward Norton rips them all off after they steal gold or whatever, right?
Yep.
And then he is so uninventive that he just like he doesn't know what to buy, and he just buys all the things that everyone else said that they would buy because he doesn't know what to spend his money on. Like it's a perfect scumbag
game.
Yeah.
You just want to steal something.
Yeah. And
it's like Donnie.
Yeah, exactly. So and then lastly, I think I'd say like The Usual Suspects probably.
Yeah.
On there as well.
Yeah. We can only do one Spacey. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm not trying
Kaiser Soze, baby, all timer. But I'm sure people will be pissed when they're like, "How do you not have The Usual Suspects, but you have Den of Thieves or whatever?"
Yeah, they can fuck off.
Care.
Yeah, no, that covers pretty much. I mean, I had the westerns, like I mentioned, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and I think The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly kind of ventures into that territory.
Yeah.
Although it's more like grave robbing more than heist territory.
Yeah.
And then The Killing, Kubrick's The Killing. Old, but like it is like fundamental to the genre, and it
heist genre for sure.
Looks very good. I mean, looks incredible. Like if you Nolan, that opening scene to The Dark Knight is heavily inspired by The Killing.
Yeah, I wish we could almost draft just that scene. The opening heist for Dark Knight, great heist sequence.
Yeah, actually, when I was looking through like the town and like just kind of collecting thoughts on it, because I was like, this probably has very funny like Letterboxd reviews on it. It did. The very first one was I wonder if Ben Affleck saw the opening to The Dark Knight was like, can we make this into a 2-hour movie?
Yeah. It's got a lot of similarities. But yeah, that's our draft. Remember Wolfman for next week. Check out our boy, which again, we love Christopher Abbott here. Maybe not as thrilled for this one as we have been for some of his other projects, including whatever, The Counting Man and Craven. Which, by the way, did you see that clip of
Dude,
what?
How did I not notice that in the theater?
What the fuck? So if you haven't seen the clip, someone clipped out a sequence where they took, was it Ariana DeBose, right? It was the they took there was a point where I guess they fucked up in post, whatever, or they couldn't find the time for reshoots. There's a sequence where it's Ariana DeBose. They just took a still image of her and they CGI'd like her like inner part of her face over it.
It was Blade Trinity. Yeah, it was the Blade Trinity.
Blade Trinity did it. It's unbelievable that made it through.
And it looks about the same quality as Blade Trinity did like 25 years ago. Like it's that bad of like a graft. Like it's something one of our interns could pull off.
I would throw on top of it though, as a caveat, since we didn't catch it in theater, I'll give them a bit of grace. Like I didn't catch this watching this in the theater, so I'll be like, you know what? I'll give you a little bit something here.
I'll be honest, brother. I was high as a fucking kite.
watching Craven.
I mean,
You
it had to be.
You know what I realized too is when we reviewed it, we completely forgot to talk about that one scene where Alessandro Novello does that like that thing.
Yeah. He's been funny on Twitter about it. I don't know if you've seen him talking about like the
brutalist and stuff. Yeah.
He's like, well, I wish it had gone better.
Yeah, I think was it like Craven had made more money than or was it shoot. There was something about like comparing the Craven and the Brutalist, or Craven to Brutalist, and he was like,
the Brutalist made like
myself?
I think a couple $1,000 less, but it was like 1/15th of the screens.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I should be thrilled or kill myself. I'm not sure, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, make sure to watch Wolfman for our good boy Christopher Abbott.
Julia
count
Garner,
1, 2, 3. All right. See you guys later.
See ya.